Are you ready for a huge surprise you never imagined before? What suddenly made the names of BTS's Jungkook and Calvin Klein the hottest topic in the international fashion world? Find out the answer now, but be careful. This news might just make your heart race. Are you prepared to face the revelation that could shake the global music, fashion, and entertainment industries all at once? Have you ever imagined that a global pop star with millions of loyal fans would step onto the world's most prestigious fashion stage in a completely unexpected way? The time has come to brace yourself, because this is not just another cheap rumor, it's a shocking fact that has just stunned the public. Imagine if the powerhouse brand Calvin Klein, synonymous with international fashion icons, suddenly revealed a massive secret. Jungkook, BTS's most beloved member by ARMY, will appear in their upcoming fashion show. The questions are, why now? Why so suddenly? And what's the real meaning behind such an unexpected collaboration? Don't miss a single second of this, because every detail is filled with mystery, speculation, and surprises that have left social media buzzing. We want to know your thoughts as loyal viewers, so be sure to leave a comment below, hit the like button if you feel the excitement, and don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss other major updates. When you hear the name Jungkook, what comes to mind isn't just a singer with a golden voice, but a global icon who has transcended the boundaries of both music and fashion. For years, Jungkook has been known as someone who delivers more than just stage performances. He represents a generation full of passion, innovation, and a modern lifestyle. But this latest news from the international fashion stage is far from ordinary. Calvin Klein, a fashion giant with a long history of creating global trends, just dropped a bombshell no one predicted. The shocking announcement confirms that Jungkook will be one of the main faces in their upcoming fashion show. The first public reaction? Shock mixed with excitement. Social media is filled with disbelief. Is Jungkook really going to walk Calvin Klein's runway? Is this just a marketing stunt? Or could it be a major move that will redefine the collaboration between K-pop and the global fashion industry? These questions now hang in the air, stirring both curiosity and suspense. BTS fans, especially ARMY, flooded timelines on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok with endless speculation. Some believe this is a dream finally coming true, while others remain doubtful, saying the moment arrived too quickly without prior hints. What makes this news even hotter is how Calvin Klein deliberately kept every detail secret until suddenly dropping this big reveal. It's not just a smart strategy, but also an emotional one, successfully sparking a worldwide wave of curiosity. Yet behind the burning excitement, a major controversy is also brewing. Some critics argue that Calvin Klein's decision to bring Jungkook onto the fashion stage isn't just an artistic choice, but a calculated commercial strategy aimed at dominating the Asian market. So the big question arises, is Jungkook being used as a magnet to boost Calvin Klein's name in an era of cutthroat brand competition? On one hand, BTS fans feel proud that their idol is recognized not only as a musician, but also as a global fashion icon. On the other, cynical voices claim that Western fashion often exploits Asian stars' popularity for short-term gain. Is Jungkook truly being given creative freedom in this collaboration? Or is he just a face to draw the crowd's attention? The controversy deepens as Calvin Klein has yet to clarify Jungkook's exact role in the upcoming show. Will he simply walk the runway? Will he become a long-term global ambassador? Or even further, could Jungkook be stepping into the role of guest designer, influencing their newest collection? These questions have sparked intense debate, especially in South Korean media. Some pop culture critics believe Jungkook's involvement marks the beginning of a new era of K-pop invasion in international fashion. Others, however, warn it could be risky, raising questions about whether Jungkook will still be seen as an authentic musician or merely as a global marketing symbol. Adding fuel to the fire are hotter rumors. Some gossip outlets claim Jungkook's appearance with Calvin Klein is not spontaneous, but part of a long-term strategy. According to speculation, BTS's management company HYBE has been secretly negotiating with international fashion houses to expand their artists' global reach. Calvin Klein, they say, is just the first step paving the way for future collaborations with luxury European brands. Imagine, what if, after Calvin Klein, Jungkook suddenly becomes the face of Dior, Louis Vuitton, or even Gucci? This would surely trigger fierce competition among fashion houses to secure the Korean superstar. But not everyone is thrilled. Some long-time Calvin Klein fans in the West feel betrayed, claiming the brand, once synonymous with minimalist Hollywood sensuality, has now shifted too heavily toward the Asian market. On Twitter, snide comments suggest Calvin Klein is out of ideas and now dependent on a K-pop idol's fame. Yet whether this criticism is valid or just jealousy over K-pop's unstoppable rise remains unclear. What is undeniable is that a single announcement about Jungkook sent Calvin Klein trending worldwide, a sign that this move was anything but a mistake. In fact, it may open a whole new chapter in fashion history. Now, the ball is in the fans' court. Will ARMY continue to support Jungkook's leap into fashion, or will they question whether he's still focused on music? What about Western fashion critics, who often view K-pop newcomers with skepticism? And the most suspenseful question, what will actually happen on the fashion show stage? Will Jungkook only make a brief appearance, or will he dominate the runway with a performance that permanently shifts global fashion's perception? Looking back, K-pop idols have been making waves in fashion for over a decade, catching designers' eyes with bold, experimental, and visually striking styles. But what sets Jungkook apart is the scale of his influence. He's not just a popular singer, but part of BTS, a global phenomenon breaking records on charts and dominating digital platforms. History shows that big brands always need icons to stay relevant. In the 90s, Calvin Klein shook the world with their controversial campaign featuring a then-unknown Kate Moss. The fashion world was divided, some called it revolutionary, others condemned it. But ultimately, it worked, cementing Calvin Klein's image as daring. Now, history seems to be repeating itself with Jungkook at the center. As fans and haters clash online, the controversy only grows. ARMY, known for their loyalty and power, welcomed the news with pride, flooding social media with hashtags and praise, even predicting Jungkook's appearance will redefine runway standards. But haters argue it's nothing more than a cheap gimmick. Some claim fashion has lost originality, relying too much on celebrity hype rather than true design. Meanwhile, industry analysts offer a cooler take. This collaboration is proof of how global industries now follow digital momentum. Popularity is no longer just about chart numbers or catwalk appearances, it's economic power. One announcement can skyrocket brand exposure, sales, and image overnight. The big question, who benefits most from this drama? Calvin Klein gets instant global exposure. BTS and HYBE gain financial and strategic leverage. But what about Jungkook himself? Here lies the emotional dilemma that fuels debate. Some fans worry, will Jungkook remain focused on his music, especially during this golden era of his solo career? Will fashion distract him from his comeback? Or will it instead reinforce his image as a multi-talented artist with no boundaries? Speculation grows wilder, with Korean media hinting that Jungkook's Calvin Klein role might even affect BTS's group dynamics. With each member exploring solo paths, will this create distance or inspire others to pursue similar opportunities? Cultural economists warn this move could reshape global fashion's power map. For years, Europe and America dominated. Now, with Jungkook stepping into the spotlight, Asia, particularly South Korea, is showing its strength. Rumor has it, some European fashion houses already feel threatened. If this trend continues, entire generations of K-pop artists might become the faces of global brands. What then happens to traditional models who've ruled the runways for decades? Will they lose their place? Or adapt to a new reality where celebrity power outweighs modeling credentials? This is the emotional tension keeping the story alive. Jungkook isn't just walking in a fashion show, he's symbolizing a seismic change that could redefine the international fashion landscape. And now, all eyes turn to the fashion show itself. One stage, one name, one moment that may go down in history as the turning point where music, pop culture, and fashion fully unite in the body of a young man named Jungkook. If ARMY roars like thunder, haters strike like a storm. The moment Jungkook was officially announced for Calvin Klein's runway, the backlash erupted. Critics attacked not only Calvin Klein's brand identity, but also Jungkook personally claiming he lacks modeling experience, runway proportions, and relies only on BTS's fame. If not for BTS's Jungkook, would Calvin Klein choose him? Absolutely not, one viral comment read. Others went further, accusing the brand of cultural hijacking, exploiting K-pop's popularity without truly respecting Asian culture. Some even argued Jungkook is just a pawn in global capitalism, destined to be discarded once the hype dies down. Meanwhile, traditional Calvin Klein fans mourn what they saw as the brand losing its rebellious Western sensual identity. "This isn't the Calvin Klein I knew," one Instagram user wrote. "They're just chasing the Asian market. The brand's soul is gone." And harshest of all were claims from self-proclaimed ex-K-pop fans accusing BTS of greed. Why can't they just focus on music? Why invade fashion, ads, films, everything? BTS is nothing but a money machine, not real artists. These comments sparked heated wars online, amplified by sensationalist media headlines. Is Jungkook really a model? Has Calvin Klein lost its identity? BTS, cultural icons or capitalist machines? But here's the irony. The louder the criticism, the bigger the spotlight on Jungkook. Even the haters can't look away. Their outrage only fuels the buzz, making Jungkook and Calvin Klein even more unavoidable. Now the world is divided. To supporters, Jungkook is a global icon rewriting history. To critics, he's proof of fashion's downfall into shallow marketing. But one thing is certain. Jungkook's name now sits at the epicenter of a controversy the world cannot ignore. But the real test is yet to come. As the date of Calvin Klein's highly anticipated fashion show draws closer, the speculation surrounding Jungkook's role reaches fever pitch. Will he simply stride down the runway in signature CK denim? Will there be a special performance, blending music and fashion into one unforgettable spectacle? Or will this event mark the start of an entirely new chapter in his career, beyond the borders of K-pop and into the very heart of the global fashion elite? Industry insiders whisper that this collaboration is just the tip of the iceberg. Some claim Jungkook is already in talks for additional campaigns that could cement his position as not only a performer, but also a full-fledged cultural tastemaker. Others hint that rival fashion houses are scrambling behind the scenes, desperate to secure their own slice of K-pop stardom before Calvin Klein monopolizes the spotlight. Meanwhile, the economic ripple effects are already visible. Social media engagement for Calvin Klein has skyrocketed since the announcement, with millions of new interactions across platforms in less than 24 hours. Retail analysts predict a surge in global sales, particularly in Asia, where Jungkook's influence is unmatched. For the first time in years, Calvin Klein has managed to cut through the noise of countless luxury competitors, and all it took was one name. For ARMY, this moment feels both surreal and historic. Supporters see it as long overdue recognition of Jungkook's star power, proof that their idol has grown beyond music into a symbol of generational influence. Yet the skepticism lingers. Will fashion critics embrace him as a genuine icon, or dismiss him as a passing marketing ploy? What's undeniable is that the stage is set for a cultural collision like no other. The upcoming show is no longer just about clothes or branding. It has become a battlefield of identity, authenticity, and global influence. If Jungkook succeeds in capturing the runway with the same magnetic force he brings to the concert stage, the world of fashion may never be the same again. One thing is certain. When the lights dim, the music swells. And Jungkook steps onto that runway, millions of eyes around the globe will be watching. History is waiting to be written, and Jungkook, alongside Calvin Klein, stands at the center of the storm. The night has come. Cameras flash, the runway glows, and the world holds its breath. From New York to Seoul, Paris to São Paulo, millions tune in to the live stream of Calvin Klein's most talked about show in years. The atmosphere is electric, anticipation crackling like a storm on the horizon. And then he appears. Jungkook steps onto the runway. The crowd erupts into gasps and cheers, a wave of noise so loud it nearly drowns out the music. Dressed in Calvin Klein's signature denim with a bold modern twist, he exudes both raw charisma and effortless elegance. Every movement is deliberate, every glance toward the cameras, a reminder of why he is not just a singer, but a phenomenon. Social media explodes instantly. Within seconds, hashtags like Jungkook's Calvin Klein, Runway King, and History in the Making trend worldwide. Twitter servers nearly buckle under the flood of real-time reactions. Fans scream, critics type furiously, and news outlets rush to update their headlines. Jungkook dominates Calvin Klein runway, but the surprises don't end there. Halfway through the show, Jungkook returns not just walking, but performing. In an unprecedented fusion of fashion and music, he delivers a stripped-down live performance right on the runway, blending seamlessly into the choreography of models striding past him. It's a moment no one predicted, a spectacle that leaves even seasoned fashion journalists stunned. This is not just a show, one critic tweets. This is a cultural reset. Backstage, executives can barely contain their smiles. Analysts already predict that Calvin Klein's sales will skyrocket by double digits in the coming weeks. Rival brands are said to be scrambling, urgently re-evaluating their strategies in the face of this new wave of K-pop dominance. Yet even amid the chaos of applause and celebration, the debates continue. Was this a daring leap forward for fashion, or a calculated gamble designed purely for hype? Did Jungkook elevate Calvin Klein, or did Calvin Klein elevate Jungkook? The answers remain unclear, but what is undeniable is that history has been made tonight. As the lights dim and the crowd roars one last time, Jungkook bows with his signature humility, flashing a smile that sends the audience into another frenzy. The show ends, but the conversation has only just begun. The question now is not whether Jungkook belongs on the runway, The world has already seen it. The real question is, what will he conquer next? As dawn breaks across different time zones, the headlines are unanimous. Jungkook rewrites fashion history. Calvin Klein finds its new face of the future. K-pop meets couture and wins. Newspapers, glossy magazines, and digital outlets alike scramble to publish think pieces, reviews, and photo spreads from last night's event. In South Korea, major broadcasters open their morning news with segments replaying Jungkook's runway debut, framing it as a national triumph. Jungkook didn't just represent BTS, one commentator says, he represented a new era for Korean culture on the world stage. The story leads prime-time broadcasts, pushing politics and sports to second place. In the West, fashion editors are divided. Vogue praises the performance as an exhilarating collision of art, commerce, and charisma, while a columnist in The Guardian criticizes it as fashion bending to the algorithm of fame. On Instagram, Calvin Klein's official account gains millions of new followers overnight, breaking engagement records for a single campaign post. ARMY, as always, has turned social media into a battlefield of passion. Fan-made edits of Jungkook on the runway dominate TikTok's For You page, racking up millions of views in hours. One viral clip of him turning mid-runway, locking eyes with the camera, and smirking has already been dubbed the moment the internet broke. But, alongside the euphoria, skepticism lingers. Some long-time fashion insiders worry that celebrity-driven runway moments dilute the artistry of design. Others argue the opposite, that Jungkook's presence injected life into a stale industry desperately seeking relevance among Gen Z and millennials. The numbers don't lie. Retailers confirm a surge in online searches for Calvin Klein Jungkook outfit within minutes of the show's end. Denim jackets, fitted tees, and the exact pair of jeans he wore are selling out across Asia, Europe, and North America. Analysts project a record quarter for Calvin Klein's parent company, citing Jungkook's influence as the primary driver. The cultural ripple effect. Beyond the runway, the impact spreads. Korean pop culture scholars note how Jungkook's appearance signifies a deeper shift. Asian artists are no longer guests in Western fashion, they're central players. Meanwhile, rival luxury houses like Dior, Louis Vuitton, and Gucci reportedly accelerate their negotiations with other K-pop stars, eager not to fall behind. What's next for Jungkook? Fans now speculate endlessly. Will he officially be named Calvin Klein's new global ambassador? Will this collaboration expand into a capsule collection bearing his name? Or is this just the beginning of a larger campaign that could see Jungkook step into the ranks of global-style legends like Kate Moss and David Beckham? One thing is certain. The runway wasn't the end, it was the launch. Jungkook has not only crossed into fashion, he has set a new standard. His performance wasn't just about walking in Calvin Klein. It was about proving that the boundaries between music, culture, and fashion no longer exist. And as the world debates, cheers, and argues, one truth remains undeniable. Jungkook has once again done what only true icons can: turn controversy into history and history into momentum. It's been only 3 days since Jungkook's headline-making runway debut with Calvin Klein, and yet the world is still buzzing. To cut through the frenzy, we sat down with the star himself and Calvin Klein's creative director for rare, behind-the-scenes insights. Jungkook speaks. It wasn't just about walking. Sitting in a sleek New York hotel suite, Jungkook remains humble despite the global whirlwind. Asked about the moment he stepped onto the runway, he pauses, smiles shyly, and admits, "Honestly, I was nervous. Music is where I feel at home, but this was different. It wasn't just about walking in clothes. It was about telling a story, representing a connection between two worlds, music and fashion. When pressed about critics who accused him of being just a marketing tool, Jungkook grows thoughtful. I understand the skepticism, but I wasn't there to just pose. I wanted to bring my own energy, my own identity into the show. For me, it's not about being used, it's about expressing myself in a new way. As for whether he plans to focus less on music in light of his new role, Jungkook is clear. Music is still my heart. Fashion is another language, another way to communicate, but it will never replace the music. Calvin Klein's creative director responds. In a separate interview at the brand's Manhattan headquarters, Calvin Klein's creative director defends the decision to put Jungkook front and center. We didn't choose Jungkook because he's famous, we chose him because he embodies what Calvin Klein stands for today. Confidence, authenticity, and breaking boundaries. When he walked that runway, it wasn't a stunt, it was a statement. Asked about criticism that Calvin Klein is pandering to the Asian market, the director shakes his head firmly. Fashion has no borders anymore. Jungkook isn't just a K-pop star, he's a global icon. His influence spans continents. To reduce him to a regional strategy is to underestimate his impact and the future of fashion. The future of the partnership. Neither Jungkook nor Calvin Klein would confirm the rumors of a long-term contract or a special capsule collection. But both hinted at bigger plans. Jungkook teased, "This isn't the last time you'll see me in this space. Let's just say I'm excited for what's coming." Meanwhile, the creative director smirked when asked directly about a global ambassador deal. "All I'll say is this is just the beginning. The industry watches closely. Already, rival fashion houses are in motion." Insider reports suggest Dior and Gucci have approached other BTS members with high-profile offers. Meanwhile, analysts predict that Calvin Klein's gamble on Jungkook may redefine the entire fashion industry's relationship with music. And while the debates rage on about authenticity, artistry, and marketing, one thing is certain. Jungkook's voice in this collaboration is louder than anyone expected. He isn't just wearing Calvin Klein. He's shaping it.